was last month, Mamdani in New York rocked the world as a socialist candidate, winning the nomination for the Democratic mayor, beating his closest competitor Cuomo by almost double digits. I think it's double digits. Don't quote me on that, but it was at least more than 7 points that he beat him by. Now the DNC, the Democratic Party power base, or power holders, people like Hillary Clinton, Obama, those types of people that are the power holders, are not having this. What they've been saying, basically, in no other words, is that they want to save their party and they want to save New York City from the hands of a socialist. So what's happening now is Cuomo, and rumors have been saying that he would do this. He's going to run independently to try to beat Mamdani, and he has also stated by the middle of September, every other candidate who isn't leading, including himself, should drop out of the race. I think that's a ploy. He's trying to get other candidates to drop out so that he can share, maybe the votes of those other candidates will go to him. This is a clear case of the Democratic National Party and its funders trying to find a way to disenfranchise the voters in the Democratic Party. The voters have spoken with a seriously powerful mandate that they want Mamdani as the mayor to run against whoever is the Republican candidate. But the Democratic Party itself does not want that. I think they would even rather have a Republican win, because as we all know, if you didn't know it now, it's clear. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are the same side of two sides of a coin. The Democratic Party did this twice to Bernie Sanders, where he was supposed to be the nominee, and they disenfranchised him, and they're doing it again. I don't know how anybody with a clear conscience can continue voting for that party unless it's Mamdani running. But in general, I think it's time for the people who vote for the Democratic Party to turn their back and look for another alternative. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yes, it's becoming quite clear to the horrific realization of many Americans that they don't actually operate in a democracy, that they operate in a one-party state, and that one party is the Israel lobby that controls both houses, which is why we saw so much focus on mayors going to Israel. I mean, you're talking about a New York mayor. We're not even talking about a president that has to do with international affairs. Your mayor of New York, the boroughs, that's what your primary issue is. It's not running around outside your country. And just for the fact that that had become the topic of conversation as an issue shows that the US government-led lobbies and people in power are so far out of touch with the people. And the people themselves are realizing that their governments and their media are so far out of touch with them. And they're like, but this is America. Why can't you say America first? And that America first is coming up. Now, coming to Trump, Trump is very contradictory. Right now, Trump is trying to appeal to his pro-Israeli base right now. So he's going to demonize him. He's going to be Islamophobic. He's going to say he's a communist, etc., etc. However, in the back wings, if Trump is smart, he will get a MAGA candidate to compete for that vote, for the Republican alternative vote. That would strengthen his MAGA base. And also, I'm not saying he would win, but it would also give him a candidate that is not AIPAC backed, because I think that both sides of the party now outside of government are not really happy about Israel. I do believe that a lot of far right-wing people, not government, but people, racist, evil as they are not really for Israel. They have genuine anti-Semitic people who actually hate Jews, that are carrying the ticking torches that say the Jews will not replace us. So we know that there's a large number of such people. Now, for different reasons, they are also not really. They would come out in numbers to vote for any Republican candidate that is not AIPAC backed. Could this be the beginning of pushback against this AIPAC lobby that started in its origins in the strongest place for Jewish people in America, which is New York? That would be ground zero. If that is ground zero, then spread like wildfire to the country.
Yeah, it will. And here's another case. There'll be another ground zero where you're going to start seeing in places that are mostly controlled by right-wing Republican values, they're being quiet about this Israel thing, but they're not really for it either. They've already spoke. The MAGA base has already said that they are against the U.S. They were against the U.S. getting into a war with Iran. And I think that once this thing starts escalating in Israel and they start collecting the dots, they're going to be against it too. So what you will see in America now is that in the major liberal cities, they will be against the genocide in Palestine. Then in the rural areas or smaller cities, which are controlled by Republican Party, you'll start seeing populist candidates who are the alternative, who are sort of like the counterpart of Mamdani. They're like, America first, our farms first. We're tired of all this APAC because APAC is destroying our country, is destroying our. So it's funny that they'll be anti-Israel, but for different reasons. They'll be anti-Israel for whatever racist, bigoted, myopic reasons, and in the big cities around America, they'll be not anti-Israel, but anti-APAC and anti-Israel lobbyists because of the humanitarian costs. The average MAGA person doesn't care about the humanitarian costs, but they care about the fact that they don't want their country being controlled by Jews. You get my point? I'm speaking in. Yeah. We don't want our country run by Jews. We want them run by Christians, by white Christians and white women. We want our slaves. You know, I'm exaggerating. And I'm happy with that. Let America become a battle for which way is America going to go? Is it going to go toward liberal cities in which human life is better, or towards farming? And I still believe that even the right-wing movement in America, they're not so much as we want to destroy black people. What they want is that leave us alone and let us live our rural Christian value lives. They're not going to come out in the streets looking for black people to kill. Now, they don't want black people to come to their neighborhoods. We won't come to their neighborhoods. We'll live in big cities like New York, Baltimore, and stuff. And then let's just have exclusion. You people do your work in the farms. We people do our work in the big cities. What is your thought? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that would be the intermediate period of time. But you see, the thing is, yes, but over the long term, what is happening is that white America is becoming more city dwelling like, and its family values are dying out. Black people do, and their populations are dying, and inevitably minorities will soon stop being needed in the rural areas as well as the city areas.
It's already happening. It's already happening. Yep.
So that's an inevitability.
So that's a bigger problem that we have to deal with. But right now, the main issue is the APAC, and the Jewish lobby.
The main issue is whether America is going to be good or bad. Let it be America. Don't let it be someone else. If you're going to sink or swim as an American, don't sink or swim as a cuckold, as a cuckold of another country, because right now that is what America is. They're basically a cuckold. They're being cuckolded by Israel, and a lot of people didn't really understand or realize what that meant. I mean, even we that are so-called educated people didn't really.
I knew it because I watched porn, so I knew what it meant.
I'm
just joking.
They didn't see it as clearly as what these people saw. So now it's clear to everyone what's going on. It's hard. Israel's lies, and they're still trying to tell the same lies as if they think it's suddenly going to work anymore. And you're going, no, it doesn't work anymore. You're trying to explain to them that, but we can literally see you lying. Why are you still lying? You know, that's how the world is looking at them now. Yeah. They're wondering why we don't.
Also, part of it is that the average American knows that they're lying. But for example, I have to go to work today. I have to worry about my car. My tire keeps going down. I have to worry about things. So a lot of Americans realize that this is wrong and we should fight it. But because it's not happening to us directly, we don't have the will yet to hit the streets and overturn it. It's until it starts hurting us. You know, like all of us, you've got a family to take care of too. So you don't have the energy to go out on the streets and try to run a revolution to change Nigeria. So that's how the rich control us, is because the rich and the elite control us, because we have too many problems to face every day to worry about mobilizing ourselves to stop what's going on. But I think the more and more this thing gets out of hand in the Middle East, the more and more I think people will now be motivated to shut everything down until it's solved. Last thoughts on that before we head out.
Yeah, far right politics are always always end up being vicious, and they only manage to gain any leverage by hiding behind the center ground. Now, what has happened here is the center right has been destroyed, and all that's left is the far right and hate and violence, and it can't hide or control itself, and it will eat itself or destroy itself, but it will never.
No, there are laws of nature. So thank God for laws of nature. They work both ways. They lead to bad things and good things. The U.S. can't sustain this anymore. The U.S. has to become an internal myopic country and deal with its economy, or it will fracture. And if it fractures, so be it. But nature will correct itself because we can't continue at this pace. This is unsustainable. And when things are unsustainable, that's usually when a revolution happens. And when a revolution happens, it's not because of the choices of people, it's because of the forces of nature. Thank you. Last words. I almost said I follow me. Last words, Queen Lady, and take us out. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been here discussing the politics of America at a minute level and how it can affect the rest of America moving forward. We hope it does do so positively. And from myself, from Mustafa, we bid you adieu, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
And also, we want to ask people all around the world to pray for PSG. We send our hearts out to PSG. All right, I'll see you tonight for Arsenal at 8:30. That was a good one. Thank you. Remind your sister too. Thanks. Okay.
I will do.
Okay. That was a good show, though. We were on point. Yeah. Yeah.